I'm a reporter with KRDO News Channel 13. Are you a labor broker? Do you think you're taking advantage of your employees? We hear you're not paying overtime or taxes or workers' compensation. Do you have any comment? This is against the law. Are you aware of that?
Now insurance claims are skyrocketing. I want to give you a look at the damage in this central Fountain neighborhood. You see windshields completely destroyed. That's the case for most of the cars along this block. But I want to give you a look. It's still a very active scene. Deputies are blocking off this entire neighborhood. The big question we've been asking ourselves all day long is why are investigators searching the home of Patrick Frazee? But what I can tell you is the Major Crimes Unit just arrived and they have set up a massive perimeter. We went back the next day, but within seconds of reaching the door, they shut their blinds and locked up. Are you aware this violates federal law? The BBB reports victims of this scam lose at least $100 to $1,000 from these sites. This all started with one call, then quickly doubled and tripled. And before we knew it, we had 10 people calling in, all with the same problem, out thousands of dollars from this man. And according to Springs Police, Daniel Nail just got booked into the El Paso County Jail on weapons charges earlier this week. So here's what we know so far.
None of the buildings have roof. I'm down to paper in the winter.
Mary DePace is still recovering from those torrential hailstorms that tore through southern Colorado.
My roofs are damaged. All my gutters are damaged. I have siding that's damaged. I have decks that are damaged.
For the past 5 months, DePace has been working with this man, Daniel Nail, who owns Nailed It Roofing, a company that advertises home improvement you can trust.
Once he got the money, I barely heard from him.
Nail started working on her first insurance claim, but after the second storm, DePace says she's now out at least $20,000 from the deductible from 2 insurance claims because he stopped showing up.
So none of the work has been done really for the second claim.
Her roof has been like this for the past month. Now she's worried it could be happening to others.
What about like an elderly couple that is on a very, very fixed income?
But it already had. Joanne and Rick Kronick, a couple in their 80s, reached out to us telling us they paid more than $1,700 and their home not done. Meet Brittany King. She's disabled and tells us she's still waiting to get roughly $1,300 back. Next was Alexis Pressler, out $8,000, and she tells us her house not done. And get this, it's not just customers that are victims, but Nail's former employees who lost a ton of money.
I lost $30,000.
I lost upwards of $20,000.
I lost $30,000.
I lost about $40,000.
Not to mention those middlemen stuck in the mess. People like Brennan Patton, who is the window contractor for a number of Nail's clients.
I have 2 closed jobs and 7 open jobs. The closed jobs were completed and no payment. The 7 jobs are open. So this is thousands of dollars.
All of this money gone from their pockets.
It really just made it hard for us to live and pay our own bills.
But what may be even more daunting.
It's almost surreal that somebody could go out of their way to ruin that many people's lives.
Is the intent behind the crimes? Just asked former employee of Nail, David Ballard.
Daniel Nail needs to be stopped.
Well, after watching our story, 3 different roofing companies have come forward offering to help.
A KRDO News Channel 13 investigation is getting results. New at 10 o'clock, questionable hiring practices where construction workers are shortchanged, and so are Colorado taxpayers.
Our own Stephanie Sierra spent months on construction sites across the Front Range, and tonight she shows us what she uncovered.
Well, Bart and Heather, when it comes to construction work, there are strict laws to make sure everyone is classified correctly so that the workers are protected and their taxes are properly withheld. Now, the state is allotted millions of dollars to investigate employment fraud, but our investigation uncovered a loophole in enforcement. Now, the state is taking action.
Morning.
5 months ago, we went to this Colorado Springs construction site. We followed all safety practices and were guided by members of the Carpenters Union, who have created an advocacy group called Criminal Colorado. It has filed 55 complaints with the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment about hiring and pay practices that allow subcontractors to take advantage of workers and at the same time fail to follow state and federal law.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Well.
We weren't there long until we ran into the site foreman.
Are you aware that you have a subcontractor utilizing a labor broker that's paying his employees under the table?
No comment.
This construction site has a general contractor with many subcontractors who hire workers to help complete everything from construction to electrical and plumbing work. The focus of our investigation is on one of them, this man, Edgar Montoya, owner of Master Drywall. This is video provided by one of Montoya's workers a few months ago. That's Montoya passing out envelopes to his workers at a job site in Denver. According to the worker, Montoya pays in both cash and check. Former employees claim Montoya pays in cash because he has misclassified them as independent contractors. This means no income, Social Security, or Medicare taxes are being withheld from their paychecks. They also aren't covered by workers' compensation and unemployment insurance, something crucial in a profession that's subject to many injuries.
¿Por quién trabaja usted?
One of Montoya's current employees, who we agreed to keep anonymous due to his fear of losing his job, says he and his co-workers were paid in cash for more than a year.
¿Cómo es que le paga Edgar Montoya a usted?
Cuando estábamos trabajando en las torres,
When we first started working at the towers, he paid us cash, but then there was a problem there. So then they started paying us in check.
Payday for these employees is usually every Friday. It's typically on site or where the sub lives, but we couldn't confirm what was exactly printed on those checks, so we showed up to see for ourselves. ¿Cómo te pagan?
Yeah, it's a check.
Over the next couple weeks, we went to 6 different construction sites where Montoya's employees work alongside a number of other subcontractors. ¿Cómo te pagan?
Chicken.
just cash. Yeah, just checks.
By check?
Do you see deductions on those checks?
I'm not sure. I honestly don't know, but
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know.
News Channel 13 tracked down Edgar Montoya to ask him directly. Are you Edgar Montoya?
Why?
I'm a reporter with KRDO News Channel 13. Are you a labor broker? Do you think you're taking advantage of your employees?
I don't want
We
to
hear
talk to
you're
you.
not
Thank
paying-
you. Have a good day.
We hear you're not paying overtime or taxes or workers' compensation. Do you have any comment? After Montoya refused to answer our questions, we talked to Colorado labor attorney Jim Abrams, who specializes in worker misclassification cases.
It does not appear to be in conformance with our law, which would mean it's not legal.
But as we found out, the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment, or CDLE, doesn't do surprise inspections, which gives subcontractors like Montoya plenty of notice to prepare for audits. State Representative Alec Garnett says that's the problem.
I have been bringing this to CDLE's attention for the last 3 years, and nothing's been done.
So we went to the state agency required to enforce the law.
So I should just say, we found nothing that was fraudulent or illegal.
My question for the CDLE, the investigating agency, is don't you think it would be a viable thing to do to have these unannounced audits so you can have a better eye on the ground?
I would say that I'm not clear on exactly what you would want us to look at.
If you're giving a notice to these employers, hey, we're going to be coming onto your site, they could clean up their act.
We don't do it now because we don't have the resources to do it.
But we learned the agency receives $2.6 million to investigate employment fraud.
We're at a point now where we really have to force CDLE to do their job.
And Governor Hickenlooper agrees. Change needs to happen.
It's unpatriotic, too. I mean, forget about it's against the law. Got it, right? But also, by not withholding, you're stealing from other taxpayers.
What the governor means is taxpayers aren't receiving the benefits they're owed.
Since our investigation, Governor Hickenlooper started a task force looking into how to enforce stricter penalties for subcontractors who break the law. Now, Hickenlooper also appointed a new executive director to the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment back in March. We did request a follow-up interview with the agency, but they declined to comment further.
And Stephanie, did the CDLE meet directly with Representative Garnett?
Yes, they met back in March, but since this new executive order, it's unclear if Representative Garnett will also step in with legislation to require these unannounced inspections next year.
Stephanie, one more. Do we know where Montoya is now?
Well, we've since learned Montoya has moved to Texas, but still operates here in Colorado. He does periodically come back on paydays.
Well, Welcome back. Time now for a KRDO special investigation. There are 114 county judges in the state, but only 2 of them have been singled out as unfit to be on the bench.
And turns out one of those judges presides right here in El Paso County. His name, Christopher Acker. Critics have called him biased and demeaning, and a state commission agrees, recommending his ouster.
KRDO News Channel 13's Stephanie Sierra is investigating this. She is live tonight with a story you'll only see right here. Steph.
Well, Bart and Heather, anyone charged with a DUI, reckless driving, or any other criminal misdemeanor could appear before Judge Christopher Acker. Now, his chambers are right beside us on the 2nd floor here, and some of his colleagues there want him out, questioning his ethics. So we wanted to know why.
All rise. El Paso County Court is now in session. The Honorable Christopher Acker presiding.
El Paso County Judge Christopher Acker under fire for complaints of bias and rude behavior.
We take it very seriously.
Murray Weiner chairs the 4th Judicial District Performance Commission, who evaluates whether or not judges should be retained. And not only did Acker not make their list, but he's one of 2 in the entire state that failed to meet performance standards. Is this rare?
I can't give it very rare. I mean, we're talking about a very small percentage in the single digits.
To put it in perspective, a poor recommendation that does not meet performance standards has only been given to an El Paso County judge 3 times in the past 30 years.
This is a way of getting them feedback, like a job evaluation.
But Acker's evaluation isn't so hot. Nearly 40% of surveys taken by attorneys, plaintiffs, defendants, victims, law enforcement, and even jurors surveyed don't approve of Judge Acker.
He is abrasive, he is demeaning, and he's abusive to people in that courtroom.
That's the voice of one attorney who frequently appeared before Judge Acker, but wished to remain anonymous in fear of retaliation.
We have a great, very well qualified bench in El Paso County, but he is the exception.
Aside from the nickname The Bully, Acker's critics grilled him the most on 3 things: application and knowledge of the law, demeanor, and fairness.
He doesn't really understand the law and doesn't understand how to apply it, and he truly represents the worst of the worst.
So you're probably wondering how many other people feel this way. Well, according to these surveys, 90 other attorneys and non-attorneys gave Acker a grade F on 6 of the categories used to evaluate him.
That's 90 Fs. But if you ask Judge Acker, he believes he's doing just fine. We reached out to him multiple times to go on camera to share his side of the story, but he declined. Although he did write this: "Following the law does not equate to lacking compassion. My primary concern, however, is about justice for victims while providing a fair courtroom." And plenty of attorneys like Jennifer Howes agree with Acker. After appearing before him for 5 months, she admires him.
I do think perhaps he could be gruff. However, I don't think he was rude. I think he treated everyone fairly.
Criminal defense attorney Josh McDowell agrees, complimenting his work ethic.
Judge Acker's very consistent, extremely consistent, and he's very businesslike.
So whether Acker just means business or it really is personal, he's no stranger to this criticism and the process.
The people are the deciders, not the commission.
Leaving the real judgment in voters' hands. Well, you've probably seen Judge Acker's name on the ballot before. He's served here in El Paso County for 16 years, and he's been retained every single time. We're live tonight at the El Paso County Courthouse. Stephanie Sierra, KRDO News Channel 13.